Stay tuned. You're about to find out why Darth Nihilus is the next meta. And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and we are going to be going over Darth Nihilus as a leader. Now, if you go to swgoh.gg, you can go to what's called the Meta Report, which shows what is popular. And Darth Nihilus as a leader is on the list with Qui-Gon Jinn, General Kenobi, Darth Vader. So he is being used as a leader, but very little. Now, was Darth Maul in here as the #1 leader? He's currently at 702, and Rex has now surpassed all others, having almost as much as all other teams combined. 914 of the top 1 teams are using Rex as a leader. So this game is a puzzle match where when one leader becomes popular, a counter to that leader crops up. Now, the counter to Rex is a Darth Nihilus-led team. We'll go over why and all of that. But if you look at the characters, Darth Nihilus is only in 5% as far as the lead goes, which is negligible. But if we come down to all characters being utilized, Nihilus is actually being utilized in 75% of the teams. He's the #1 character being used. If we come down here, 76% of the teams are using Darth Nihilus. It makes him the most popular character in the game. So why is it that a Darth Nihilus lead is not very popular, but Darth Nihilus is the most popular character in the game? Let's go into the game and find out. So why is it that Darth Nihilus is the #1 most used character in every team lineup? 75% of all #1 teams use him, but he's not even on the radar as a leader. And this is why. First off, he has Annihilate. That gives the ability to just eliminate any target, especially the hard targets like Baze or Boba Fett or anyone, and they cannot be revived. So this is what he is all about. He's overpowered in that sense. But his leadership ability is unique, and you need to take a look at it if you have him. Let's go ahead and go into why his leadership ability is so powerful. So his leadership ability, when maxed, gives all other Sith allies 60% offense. That is huge. You could spend all day modding your characters and not get a 60% offense boost. This is massive. It also gives them 150% health steal, which means each and every time they hit somebody, they will heal themselves 150% of the damage dealt. Example, they do 10,000 damage, they gain 15,000 health back. That is huge when you think about it. Emperor Palpatine's around 18,000. He could hit once and gain back all the health that he's lost in the last round of battle. So as long as your Sith are fast, they're going to continually attack and gain their health back. This is huge. Now, they did work a little kink into this, and that is that the Sith allies are immune from other healing effects. Anything else in the game that could possibly give them health, it's not going to work. And because of that, the only way that they're coded to be able to gain health is if they attack. So if they're attacking, they're gaining life. This makes them very, very viable. It makes every single Sith their own healer, and it helps them hit much harder. Now, it does say they cannot score critical hits. Now, that is why this leadership ability is right now one of the best leaderships in the game. We know by looking at the previous report that Rex has now taken the #1 leadership role. He is now overall the #1 leader in the game, and it's going to continue to move that way as people realize that Rex is a viable lead. He's also free to play and farmable, and Darth Maul is much harder to get while free to play. Is much harder to get. You will see a lot of Rex teams cropping up even in the top 100, top 200. But let's take a look at Rex and see why he's so popular. So this is called Brothers in Arms. This is his leadership ability, and it gives his clone allies some extra health, and anybody else on the team not cloned some extra health as well, half as much. But this is where he shines, where he's absolutely amazing. A Maul-led Sith team crits like mad. Every hit pretty much they're going to do a critical, and because of that it's going to proc or trigger this ability over and over and over. And it says that all the clone allies gain 15% turn meter. All of them. Anytime anyone on your side, if you're using him, anytime anyone's hit, Everybody gains 15% turn meter if they're clone. If they're not clone, they'll gain 7.5% turn meter. So if they hit 5 of your characters, which if they take 5 turns and that's what happens, you're talking about almost 40% turn meter. So you're speeding up the other team by simply playing against a Rex team. You speed them up. It's like you give them a 40% speed boost almost into their team. So their team could be even slower than it needs to be. This is one way to make your team very, very fast without good mods, is to have a Rex lead. So this is why Rex is popping up and why everyone's using him, because it's speeding teams up and it's really a counter to the Darth Maul led teams. And also to the Darth Vader-led teams. If you can make your Rex real fast, he can put tenacity up, which will prevent those debuffs from applying when those teams try to apply it. Now, let's go back to Nihilus. So now that you know that critical hits proc or trigger the amazing ability of Rex, you now realize why can't score critical hits in this leadership ability is actually an amazing thing, because it's not going to trigger. The other thing is there is a lot of abilities in the game where critical hits proc or trigger something cool in the game. For example, going against General Kenobi, he has a unique ability where it says whenever another ally is critically hit, okay, your Nihilus-led Sith team will not critically hit anyone, so this is never going to proc. This is huge. It says, and a lot more people are using General Kenobi now. It's creeping up more and more and more. As people unlock General Kenobi, they get in better guilds, they start unlocking him and using him. He's popping up all over, and this is huge. Every time somebody else gets hit, he is going to taunt, and they're going to get critical hit immunity, preventing them from that. The other thing is there's a number of players that get critical hit immunity during Padawan. This is going to prevent, basically, any benefit from this. She gets, when critically hit, she loses 1 effect, but it says she gains plus 15% critical chance. And then it says if Jedi Knight Anakin is present, she gains critical hit immunity. Just like Shore Trooper provides as well. Shore Troopers regroup, it says all allies will recover health equal to 24% of his max health, so you want his health high. But then he also gives everyone, including himself, critical hit immunity. So you see all this critical hit immunity, and you realize, wow, even Darth Maul has a critical hit immunity benefit. It says Sith allies gain a 20% evasion and 20% turn meter and stealth at the start of each encounter and whenever they evade or are critically hit. So when you critically hit them, it's going to proc or going to cause them to get evasion and turn meter. If you're not hitting them with a critical, you're not triggering this amazing, unique leadership ability that gives them that additional evasion and turn meter, which slows that team down, and it causes them to evade less. So because of all of these teams with Rex leads, with all the critical hit being required and needed to feed it for that extra turn meter, and because of all these Darth Maul teams needing you to critically hit them so they can go stealth and get extra turn meter, and because there's Shore Troopers that are healing and causing critical hit immunity, or the critical hit immunity that's passed on with multiple Jedi, Darth Nihilus now is cementing a place as a leader on your team. And I'm going to go really quick over how to mod him, and then I'm going to show you him in action against both a Darth Maul team without a Sith assassin, a Darth Maul team with a Sith assassin, and a Rex-led team. All 3 teams are very powerful. All 3 teams can very easily beat my teams, and so you will get a very fair understanding of how Darth Nihilus works as a leader against very competitive teams. Now, let's go ahead and see how I modded him. All of your Sith are going to need, that are running under him, are going to need offense. That's the #1 key. You're not doing crits. You don't care about crit chance or crit damage. All you care about is offense, getting the offense as high as possible. So I did an offense set and a health set. The other reason for health set is he gains health, right? And you want his health pool to be as large as possible. So offense and health were where I went. Obviously, the top left has offense as a primary always, but it did have extra health and protection, and we know that protection will be converted to health. So it's essentially like 1.8% health and 1,000 health, plus it gave him some additional speed. The next one is always defense, but it had additional speed, and look at that, almost 3% additional protection, which will be converted into health. Bottom left, I added protection. That's the best bang for your buck to get his health up significantly, plus it had additional secondary speed. The bottom right, I have potency, and this is why potency is now important. The developers have confirmed that he should be utilizing potency on his ability to drain, and hasn't been doing a tenacity check. They will end up fixing it, and so because of that, you better have some potency on him to make sure that he procs or triggers that ability when he goes against the opponents. It does add some speed and some offense, so this was a good mod. This one, instead of crit damage and crit chance, which is what I always suggest for most attackers or supports, I actually put offense because this is the biggest bulk way to get offense on your character. It also had more secondary offense and some protection to convert into health. And the top right, I did a speed with additional offense and additional health, 2 times 2, and additional protection. So let's look at his stats. All right. So his health and protection combined is roughly over about 72k. That is a lot of health once it's been converted, about 72,000 health. Pretty amazing. His speed leaves something to be desired a little bit. It's only at 180. I got it up, boosted up 60. With really good speed mods, you could get this up probably in the low 220s, and that would be very optimal. But obviously, I'm working with what I have. The potency I have around 69%. That's not horrible, but your goal would really be to get closer to the 80-85% mark. Tenacity is about 1/3, which is fine. His health steal currently shows 10%, but he gets it up to 150% with his leadership. He doesn't do physical damage, so we ignore that stat. We move down. His armor is decent for a support at almost 30%, but the special damage is absolutely crazy. It is almost 5,000, and look at that boost I got from all of the mods. Almost 1,000 additional special damage. That is really important, and he does have some armor penetration, 22. So that is how you mod him. Now I want to take him in and show you him in action. I used him in a varying number of comps so you could see him with different Sith, also see him with and without General Kenobi and Kylo Ren and things like that. So I wanted to showcase him in different avenues, but I want you to know that as Rex becomes more popular, Darth Nihilus will become more popular, and most everybody has him sitting around at 3 stars. So if you're not using Darth Nihilus, pick him up, dust him off, gear him up, get his attacks and abilities up. You will not regret it. He is a fun, and I mean fun, leader to play with. Now let's try R2-D2. Offense up is really unnecessary. We'll put that on Savage. Oh my friggin' lord. R2 is amazing with... we'll save it. He dodged twice in a row. I'm not gonna dodge that. I just like using Darth Nihilus as the last attack. Oh! Didn't even get to use his Annihilate. So R2-D2 works very well with Darth Nihilus as a 5th slotted non-Sith character on a Sith team. Really cool abilities. I do have his combat analysis Omega, but I do not have his number crunch Omega or Zeta. And so number crunch would be more important if you're going to put him on a Sith team, but if you're going to put him on a light side team, the combat analysis would be more important. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.